afternoon, everyone, and a very warm welcome to the Queen Hotel at Chester. We're very lucky that the weather's in our favour and we can have this wonderful wedding outside. An especially warm welcome to Jay and Becky, whose marriage we are here to witness and to celebrate. This is their special day, and you are the people closest to them, and they're delighted that you're able to be here today to share it with them and to support them with your love and your friendship as they formalise their relationship and embark on this wonderful new adventure called marriage. Now today we not only see the union of Jay and Becky in marriage, but the joining together of two families. In accordance with tradition, I therefore ask Brian, as father of the bride, would you please formally place your daughter's hand into Jay's? Brian?
You don't get away that easily, Brian.
Becky to Jay.
I do.
Good man, thank you very much.
It's me you want to be worried about.
My name is Michelle, and it's a privilege and a pleasure to be able to conduct your ceremony for the two of you today. My colleague Mandy will be ensuring that all the legal requirements are met and producing that all-important marriage certificate at the end of our ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very significant and important moment in Jay and Becky's lives. In the time they've been together, their love and understanding of each other has grown and deepened. And now they've decided they want to live their lives together as a married couple. The purpose of marriage is that you may love, care and support each other throughout your life together. And you may be fulfilled in a relationship of permanent and continuing commitment. But before you are married to each other, I have to tell you that this place in which we are met has been duly sanctioned according to law for the celebration of marriage. I should also remind you both of the solemn and binding character of the vows that you're about to make. Marriage, according to the law of this country, is the union of two people. It's a commitment to one another for the rest of your lives, to the exclusion of all others. Now I know that you all know who these two people are, but just to make sure that Mandy and I are marrying the right couple today, would you please state your full names? And Jay, possibly for the very last time, you'll get to speak first.
James Davies.
Thank you.
Rebecca Jo Edwards.
I am required at this point to ask if there is any person here who knows of any legal reason why these two people should not be joined together in matrimony. They should please declare it now.
On the pram.
Nobody running down the steps or out in the breeze? I think we're good to continue.
Yeah.
Brings us nicely to the first legal declaration. So Jay, please say these words. I do solemnly declare.
I do solemnly declare.
That I know not.
That I know not.
Of any lawful impediment.
Of any lawful impediments.
Why I, James Davies.
Why I, James Davies.
May not be joined in matrimony.
May not be joined in matrimony.
To Rebecca Jo Edwards.
To Rebecca Jo Edwards.
Becky. I do solemnly declare.
I do solemnly declare.
That I know not.
That I know not.
Of any lawful impediment.
Of any lawful impediment.
Why I, Rebecca Jo Edwards.
Why I, Rebecca Jo Edwards.
May not be joined in matrimony.
May not be joined in matrimony.
To James Davies.
To James Davies.
Now, any union you enter into has to be done so voluntarily. Therefore, I ask you this question. Do you, Jay, by your own choice, freely enter into the union of marriage with Becky?
I do.
And do you, Becky, by your own choice, freely enter into the union of marriage with Jay?
I do.
Your marriage is a partnership between equals, freely and openly undertaken, and a relationship based on love and trust. And a good partner in marriage will be loving and caring, but above all else, a best friend. And remember that love isn't always perfect, and it doesn't always come easy. Love is overcoming obstacles, facing challenges, fighting to be together, holding on, and never letting go. It's about tolerance, respect, and occasionally forgiveness. It's about learning to see an imperfect person perfectly. So love is work, but it will be a wonderful journey because the two of you are perfect for each other.
Absolutely.
We come now to the second legal declaration. So Jay, please take Becky by the hands and say these words to her. I call upon
I call upon
these persons here present
the persons here present
to witness that I, James Davies,
to witness that I, James Davies,
do take thee, Rebecca Joe Edwards,
do take thee, Rebecca Joe Edwards,
to be my lawful wedded wife.
to be my lawful wedded wife. Because of you, I laugh, I smile, I dare to dream more than I ever have. I love you not for only who you are, but for who I am when I'm with you. I promise to give you the best of myself, to care for you always, and to keep our love and friendship as is today. That was hard.
Don't tell that. Okay, Becky. Thank you. I call upon
I call upon
these persons here present
these persons here present
to witness that I, Rebecca Joe Edwards,
to witness that I, Rebecca Joe Edwards,
do take thee, James Davies,
do take thee, James Davies,
to be my lawful wedded husband.
to be my lawful wedded husband. The love you've shown me is beyond anything I thought possible. Because of you, I am becoming the person I've always dreamed of being. You are every reason, every hope, and every dream I've ever had. I promise to give you the best of myself, to care for you always, and to keep our love and friendship as it is today.
Can I now invite Claire to come and read for us, please?
I belong in your arms. Finally, I have found a place into which I fit, perfectly, safely and securely, with no doubts, no fears, no sadness, no tears. This place is filled with happiness and laughter, yet is spacious enough to allow me the freedom to move around, to live my life and be myself. This wonderful place, which I never believed really existed, I have finally found inside your arms, inside your heart, inside your love.
I think that deserves a round of applause.
Okay, just some tissue.
I've got my granddad.
Oh, right, okay.
Now, Jay and Becky will seal their union in the traditional and ancient way by exchanging their wedding rings. And in a moment, I'm going to ask Mark and Alan to bring the rings forward. So, boys, stand like coiled springs. A wedding ring is worn on the third finger of the left hand because of an ancient belief that a vein from that finger goes directly to the heart. It is a symbol that speaks of the love you have for each other. Gentlemen.
Synchronised standing as well.
Can I ask, first of all, Mark, would you please give Jay the ring he's chosen for Becky? You take it out of the box first. And just watch the video.
I was
You're
going to turn
standing
around
right
there
in
and then they
front
can.
of it. There we go. We didn't practice this, ladies and gentlemen. And you place that on the third finger of the left hand. And holding it there, please say these words to Becky. I give you this ring
I give you this ring
as a token of my love and affection,
as a token of my love and affection,
and in recognition of our shared life together.
and in recognition of our shared life together.
Wear it with a feeling of love and joy.
Wear it with a feeling of love and joy.
I choose you to be my wife,
I choose you to be my wife,
today and every day.
today and every day.
Is it on there?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's on, lovely. Alan, would you please give Becky the ring that she's
I most
chosen for
certainly
Jay?
will.
Thank you, sir. Excellent. Place that on the third finger. Good. Holding it there, Becky, say these words to Jay. I give you this ring
I give you this ring
as a token of my love and affection,
as a token of my love and affection,
and in recognition of our shared life together.
and in recognition of our shared life together.
Wear it with a feeling of love and joy.
Wear it with a feeling of love and joy.
I choose you to be my husband,
I choose you to be my husband,
today and every day.
today and every day.
Is it on?
Yeah.
Excellent. Gentlemen, take a bow if you wish.
They don't need any encouragement.
The ring has always been a symbol of continuity and unity, an unbroken circle with no beginning and no end. And may the rings that you've just exchanged always remind you both of the lifelong vows and promises that you've just made. That your greatest gift to each other will be to love and to be loved. And that because of the love that you share, you will never again have to face any of life's challenges alone. Jay and Becky, you've both made the legal declarations required by law in the presence of your two witnesses, surrounded by the love and support of everybody gathered here. Work together to create an environment in which you can both grow to realise the full potential of your union. Be constant and consistent in your love for each other through the joys and sorrows of your life together, because in doing so you will build a strong and secure marriage. And when frustration and difficulty enter your lives, as they sometimes will, respect the differences between you. Focus on what's right in your relationship and remind yourselves of what it was that first brought you together as a couple. Remember that the great acts of love are done through habitually performing the small acts of kindness. But most importantly, the love that you share is special and precious. So as busy young parents, always find the time to acknowledge and celebrate it together as a couple. I've got two grandmas over there, they should be able to see. Mandy and I hope that in the years ahead, today becomes the source of many happy memories for the two of you, for your families, and for all your guests. May the way that you feel about each other at this very moment grow deeper and stronger over the coming years. I'm delighted to announce you are now legally married and you may share your first kiss as husband and wife.
Oh, come and hold me. Oh, you do it so lovely. I wake from a daydream. Oh, to find I erased me. I close my eyes just to dream of you at night. There's nothing as lovely as you in the morning light. Time turning older, and I find home on your shoulder. Oh, lay with me closer. Oh, wait another moment. I close my eyes just to dream of you at night. There's nothing as lovely as you.
Good afternoon. Right, I'm going to talk about Becky, the legend Becky. And I'll have to have Ernie tell me here. She was Welsh champion in gymnastics, and she was British champion,
and then I went downhill.
The legend.
Yeah, we don't talk about that though, Wayne.
Yeah, it's so nice that Jay and Rebecca are together. They're a lovely pair. And I can't be happier that the two of them are together. So I'm going to say thank you very much and thank you.
I'm not one for speaking in public.
No.
So let me get started. Ladies and gentlemen, family and friends, and the Everton lads on table 10 at the back. Thank you very much for choosing to come along to my wife and I's very special day. Firstly, I would like to thank Brian for them kind words, and I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank Brian and Jane for the kindness and love that they've shown me from the moment Becky introduced me to them. I would like to thank you for raising such a wonderful person in Becky. It's not often that you get someone who is so selfless, loving, caring, funny and beautiful inside and out. Brian, I remember back to when I asked you for your daughter's hand in marriage and you said, "You know what Becky is like, Jay." Now, if I'm not mistaken, this was 7 years ago. So I don't want to embarrass Becky, but I'll leave it there that she could have been part of the Davies family a lot earlier.
Better late than never.
Absolutely. I should have known then, shouldn't I? Speaking of the Davies family, it now seems an appropriate time to thank my mum and dad for being such amazing parents and bringing not just myself, but all 5 of us into this world and enabling us to grow up with our own personalities but the same values in life. The relationships which they have is truly wonderful, and something that I hope myself and Becky can make as good a job as our marriage as they have of theirs. I hope that our child/children have the love and care that you've surrounded us with. I'm sure that everybody in this room will agree when we saw Becky how stunning she looked today. I think the words I used were immense. You truly do look amazing. The whole room's breath was taken away when you entered, although it wasn't a room. You're so beautiful, and I'm such a lucky man to be marrying you. I've waited for this day for so long, and now it's here, I feel complete. Mine and Becky's story has definitely been an eventful one. Things that have come through, or the things that we have come through, just show how strong we are together and how we have each other's backs. Our relationship started as all fairy tales do, in Rosie's. Thanks, Andy. To be honest with you, there are 2 versions to this story. So for the purpose of today, we're going to use the truth. Now, Becky was out celebrating with her best friends, family and sisters. I think at the time I was out with a few of the lads, as you do when you're younger. We ended up dancing and having a laugh, and that was the time that I thought that she was a bit out of my league. Oh. However, the romance continues here. The next day I received a message on Facebook. I think nowadays it's called Facebook stalking, but let's not get into that. On to the first date. I don't really know what to say here, so I'm just going to tell you what happened and you can be the judges. It was definitely an experience. I received a text the day of the date saying that she had been to A&E because she had dislocated her knee. And I think the message I wrote back was, no worries. And now, all men in the room, you probably agree with me. You think, well, yeah, that was probably going to happen. She's not interested. It's an easy getter. Anyway. But oh, how was I mistaken? In actual fact, and probably looking back on it now, it was one of the maddest first dates I've ever had in my life. Not to say I've had too many, but... Now some of you know that Becky is a little bit of an overthinker. She had overthought the whole process and still decided to meet me. Anyway, we planned to go bowling. It didn't happen because of an injury. We decided to just chill at my mum and dad's house in my room at the time. Now, at this point, it sounds fair.
Yeah, that sounds really
Well,
I like that.
to be honest, I was going to use Netflix and chill, but I thought that's probably the wrong thing to say.
That's what they call it these days, isn't it?
Yeah. Now, at this point, it sounds fairly normal, but the key to this story was that she was high as a kite due to painkillers and gas and air. I think it's fair to say that we got along really well from the outset. We were just talking most of the evening. So date one was pretty successful, despite her not being able to remember much of it. Date two, however, was one of our most expensive dates. Literally don't think either of us wanted it to end. We ended up in Chester at an ice cream farm, then we went to the candle factory, went for food, and then as you do, sat on the river, you think, oh, let's go to Blackpool. I'm joking. However, that day I'll forever cherish in my heart because walking along the front, just talking, and as it was 1 o'clock in the morning, I think, I knew that I was going to marry this girl there and then. Life has thrown plenty at us, but we're still here to tell the tales. What I do know is that I want to spend the rest of my life with you. No matter what is put in front of us, we together can take it on united. I can't tell you what the secret is to a successful relationship, but what I can tell you, for us, it's talking and being there for one another. And Becky, I'm sure you'll agree that we probably talk about far too much stuff in our relationship. No words will ever seem to be enough for how I feel about you, Becky. But hopefully in front of all our family and friends, these do. Rebecca Jo Davies, I love you.
Yeah.
Jane and Brian, rest assured that I'll take good care of your youngest daughter. I'll provide for her, I'll look after her for always. I will do my best to meet all the expectations for the rest of our lives. Actually, can you remind me what those expectations were? There is one catch, however, Brian. If Becky has one more breakdown over a kettle or a fork, I'm returning her as faulty goods. Thank you very much to everyone who's helped and supported myself or Becky. It means the world. It means the world to see you all here today, and I hope that you all have a fabulous day. Enjoy yourselves as much as you can. Hopefully we can give you as good a day just to say a bit of thanks. Gaz, thanks for the best man duties, much appreciated. Somehow you've managed to find time to arrange a stag do a doctorate, have an 18-month-old baby, start a new job, and also start thinking about your wedding. It means a lot, it's much appreciated. So my brothers and my dad were the groomsmen, thank you very much. You managed to turn up to suit fittings on time, the correct day. What more could I have asked for? Now some of you may or may not know, but all my groomsmen have had job descriptions to do during the wedding. Thank you very much for carrying those out. In fact, Paul, I think Theo's nappy needs changing. On to the bridesmaids, and I'm sure you will all agree, don't they look amazing? Thank you so much for being there for Becky, for supporting her, for being a shoulder to cry on and a hug when's needed. It means the world to her, and it means the world to me because it makes my job easier. Please, everybody, if I can ask to propose a toast, if we can raise your glasses to the bridesmaids.
To the bridesmaids.
Claire. Where do we start? It's fair to say, everyone, that today would not have happened to what it looks like today if it wasn't for Claire. In fact, me and Becky were so relaxed that we hadn't actually done anything part of the wedding until around 6 months ago.
Well, it was about a week ago.
I was trying to keep that a secret. So we kind of planned it to coincide, obviously, when we have a newborn baby. You've pretty much designed the whole wedding, and I'm sure that everybody in this room will agree that it's pretty damn impressive.
Yeah.
The time that you've spent painting, arranging flowers, shopping trips, more painting, writing, and trying to keep control of Bridezilla. I could go on, but I think everybody gets the picture. Thank you so much for everything that you've done. We really don't know what our wedding would have looked like without you doing what you've done. Thank you all for listening to my waffle. One final thing to do is to hand out some gifts. You going to give us a hand with this, Theo? Yeah?
He's actually ready for his bottle.
He's ready for his bottle.
I'll just pass some to you.
Okay. So,
do best?
mum and dad.
Oh, I don't know where they're over there.
Mums, yeah. So, Sue and Jane, thank you for all the help that you've done with the wedding. It's much appreciated.
I can't reach the cards. There's a card in there. For Mum and Dad. Sorry, thank you.
It's all right.
I don't know where your Mum and Dad's card is.
They've already got it. They've already had it. Thank you for offering advice and being a sound on the ball when we need one. And thank you for bringing us both up to be amazing people.
Yeah. Last come to me because I can't.
Thank you very much.
Well, I'm actually trying to get off that now.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Jane. Bridesmaids, we've got a little gift here for you too. Thank you again for being there for Becky and supporting her whenever she's needed you.
Come here.
Do you want to come up, girls?
They're just Emma's. They've got names on, so just check. Welcome inside. Thank you.
Jess, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Love you, girl.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Mr. Tebble, a little thank you for you as well, mate.
What is this tag said? Gary Table.
Or Gary Table, whichever.
Cheers, Jeff. Cheers, mate.
Thanks, guys.
So now we're going to hand over to the next brother down, Paul. We're going to set up the mic and away you go. Thank you very much.
Go for
Hi
it.
guys, I'm Paul. Sir, I get rid of the mic. I'm one of Jay's brothers, and as you can see, us brothers were all lucky enough to be groomsmen. Don't we scrub up well? It's like being young again, all in matching bloody outfits. Thanks, man. I'm joking, the suits are perfect. I was going to apologise for any crude humour, but that's probably something Jay would do, being Mr. Sensible. When Jay asked me to do this speech, I did wonder, why me? Did he do it to embarrass me? Is it because I'm the most well-spoken? Then it dawned on me. I'm probably the only one who wouldn't turn it into a musical.
love it.
So, I'm meant to be telling you about what it was like to be Jay's brother, and as you can imagine, it was competitive. Well done though, mate, you finally beat me at something and tied the knot. By competitive, I mean unfair, like the teams always were when me, Ad, Mark and Alan had to play footy against him and Tebs. Either Mark and Alan were always put in goal, the other three played outfield against them. They were purely taking advantage of our smaller size. We used to have to climb over the hedge to get onto the field behind ours to play footy, and I'm sure it was the same situation there. Jay and Tebs would make one of us younger ones go first to check if it was safe to climb over, or use one of us to cushion for their landing. It's a shame we grew up though and then had to carry the pair of them during the Heron Hounds football days, winning every bit of silverware possible. Speaking of football, Jay, how is that Dale Winton wrist of yours after I broke it playing five-a-side? Jay's first job was at B&Q. He'd always gloat to us brothers about having a job, being able to pay his way, get himself nice things. Which reminds me, I'm sure the first thing he'd done with his wages was buy this awful subwoofer, which was far too big for his car at the time, which was a KA. Money well spent there, mate. Brilliant. Nothing against KAs though, Becky. Milton was a legend. He was a legend. When it came to house parties, we'd always act. Jay would always act as Mother Hubbard. Mum and Dad would go away for the week and we'd have to beg in to have people come round. Such a boring brother. When it came to him having his mates round though, he'd kick me and Ad out and bribe the twins with sweets, which is probably why they were so chunky.
Honestly, that is true, isn't it? I'm not lying there, like. I've just heard what you know.
I swear I could get the twins to do anything. We went go-karting on an open day for Dad's work once. Jay bet Alan £10, knowing full well that he wouldn't actually give him the money. Bear in mind, Alan's 15, 16 at the time. Worst cat ever.
I've got a picture of that as well, so.
Don't know if you agree with me on that one, mate. I remember our first holiday abroad. Jay, being the older brother, was always supposed to be the influencer on us. Well, when there was drink involved, he wasn't so much. This is the first time, as us brothers, we witnessed him retching, throwing up, after not being able to handle his alcohol. This probably went on for two hours or so. Us brothers in absolute hysterics. Mum and Dad were furious. There's been plenty of times I've heard him in the bathroom throwing up from alcohol. And believe it or not, he does sometimes make it to the toilet. Another time he never even made it home. He ended up sleeping on the shop doorway. One of the worst times was when he threw up in the hallway, all over the sideboard. Oh no, wait, that was me. Maybe he did have an influence on us after all. I would mention the latest one on his stag do, but that memory brings back nightmares for myself personally. I'll let you guys ask him about that one. Although I do have a brilliant picture of him in his most vulnerable state.
No, I'm joking. I'm just joking.
I'm just kidding. I haven't. No one wants to see that. Jay was always the favourite until February 1991 when I was born. He didn't stand a chance. He even had to buy his way into the biggest bedroom. Mum had just decorated for my birthday. Jay ups his rent and I get moved out. Only into another room, of course. But thanks for that, Dad. It's a good job, though, it wasn't a United theme, as it didn't take him long to jump ship when he met Becky and became a blue nose. You traitor. Yes, he was originally a Man United fan, and I've got proof. I have got proof, guys. You remember it? Yeah. Cheers, Tom. Who knew such an innocent-looking girl could have such a bad influence on him? I'm kidding, Beck. You also changed him for the better. He now watches action films instead of rom-coms, has a much better dress sense. That relates to another picture of You're about Nova. And you trained him into the perfect housewife or house husband. I don't know how you put that nowadays. Just need to sort his hair out now, but I guess you can only do so much. Mind you, them fibres work wonders, mate. When Mark and Alan were first born, the first thing Jay wanted to do was help Mum and Dad with the pair of them. I mean, I have no idea what's so exciting about changing nappies. I myself was apparently off in another room, probably hiding from humans or something. And Adam was probably chewing on crayons and somewhere else.
Chewing on crayons?
Yeah. We weren't a goody two-shoes like him. It was probably for the best, though, as he would have listened to every bit of advice Mum and Dad would have given to him, which in return has definitely paid off with how amazing of dad he is to Theo, who is looking dapper today and busy. It pains me to say this, as us brothers are always trying to get one over on each other, but Jay's always been a big role model in my life. Not so much with alcohol, but I could always ask him advice on anything. Even if he didn't have the answer, he'd still figure one out, make something up, or make something up to make me feel better. Although I could nod off now and then, as he likes to drone on like his dad does. He's also pulled me out of the crap more than once. I fell off my bike before, smashed my 2 front teeth in, Jay's there to carry me home. Sprained my ankle in the park, Jay's a hero again. When I snapped my knee ligaments, Jay was the first person I rang. He even picked me up in that awful KA of his. Thankfully, no music blaring. Becky, I know the last 8 years have been a struggle putting up with Jay, but at least you have decent in-laws out of it. We can now call you a Davies. You're both amazing people and deserve all the happiness in the world. Theo is an absolute credit to you both. Also, I can't forget Peggy, she's a legend. Never thought I'd say that about a dog. To the bride and groom.
To the bride and groom. Well done, Paul. Well done.
Thank you, guys. I'll pass you over to the best man, Gary.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. For those who don't know me, my name is Gary, and I am both Jay's cousin and best man for Jay and Becky's wedding today. Now, you've got no idea how long I've been looking forward to the wedding today. To be precise, it's 30 years, 123 days, 5 hours, and approximately 3 minutes and 7 seconds. Why, might you ask? Well, apart from the obvious reasons, at long last, Jay has finally admitted that I am in fact the best man. I would firstly like to extend my thanks to Brian, Jay and Paul for their brilliant speeches. I think they've done a brilliant job, and coming on last is always a hard gig. I would also like to share my thanks to all for attending the wedding today. To see this many of Jay and Becky's family and friends fills me with a lot of pride. I'm sure everyone here would agree with me when I comment on today's venue. What a truly amazing place this is, and it's truly amazing to host this special day. On behalf of the bridesmaids and myself, I'd like to thank Jay and Becky for asking us to be involved in one of those most significant days of their lives. The planning, prep work and hard work that's gone into ensuring that this wedding today is special is a true indicator of their determined characters. I want to also take the opportunity today to thank the beautiful bridesmaids who are looking beautiful today, and thank them for their time, effort and commitment that they have shown over the last year or so. Of course, the only person to eclipse the bridesmaids here today is the stunningly beautiful bride, Becky. Simple message for Becky, really. Thank you for bringing Jay and all of us so much happiness. Now, if there's anyone in here this afternoon that is feeling unsettled, nervous and worried at the thought of what is yet to come, it's probably because you've just married Jay. Now, the bride and groom have requested that I don't mention anything too personal today. I take that to mean Jay's embarrassing moments, mistakes and psychopathic ex-girlfriends. So, thanks everyone, that's it from me. I want to also thank Jake for asking me to be the best man today. I must admit I wasn't quite sure what I was going to write in the speech until a very recent trip to Liverpool on one of the several suit fittings. We all arrived promptly for the first train in Liverpool when we noticed Jay trialling a new hairstyle. What can only be described as a cross between an 80s mullet and a wild bird's nest. It was in that moment, amongst our jeers to take Jay to the nearest Liverpool hairdressers, that I knew exactly how to organise today's speech, whilst wondering how it was possible to have more hair on the bottom of someone's head than the top. So thanks to the experience, I worked out a way of writing this speech that will hopefully outline Jay's character, personality and stages of hair development in the best possible way. The speech will therefore be separated into 3 parts. Okay. So, the first part I like to call the fringe hairstyle stage, and we'll briefly talk about his early years and the time that Jay adopted a hairstyle which he thought was quite cool at the time. The haircut involved shaving his head all over and leaving the fringe long, a bit like a stylish monk, which Jay later dyed blonde and wore with pride. The second part I like to call around his teenage antics, and I've named this part of Jay's life as the Mr. Tumble hair stage, as his hair slowly began receding backwards, whilst he also developed a talent for performing, particularly when he wanted to come off the pitch early in football. The last part of this speech, and it talks about more recent parts, include obviously the infamous stag do in sunny Germany. And for this part I like to call his Bobby Charlton hair stage, for 2 main reasons. The first being that as time has gone on, I've noticed that it's took Jay longer and longer to wash his face in the morning. In addition to this, we also had a brief chat this morning, as you do, whilst getting ready for the wedding, and I've also noticed that Jay is still very loyal to his favourite comb. When I asked to use it, he refused, but I guess he just couldn't part with it.
Very good.
Anyway, moving on. I think the main reason why I've lasted all these years is that Jay is a direct family member and Auntie Son Uncle Simon had brilliant Wi-Fi and good access to the internet. Okay, so Jay's early years, and Paul touched upon these brilliantly before. Even as a small child, Jay displayed signs of quite a strong-willed personality. He used to inform us all while he was carrying his football, and he used to line us all up and march us all to the park by my auntie's house. Now I must admit, we did get there safely. It was just unfortunate that by the time we had got there and Jay was organised us and he was happy with the health and safety aspect, it was usually pitch black and time to get home for tea. For those that don't know much about Jay's earlier years, he used to be a keen rugby player until he made the switch to football shortly after I began playing. This was a great move for Jay, as he was clearly a natural footballer. And that's not a joke, by the way, to be fair. He played most of his games as a goalkeeper at this point for Weapon Spitfires, and it's safe to say he didn't let many goals in. I do remember thinking at the time, though, whether it was possible to score a goal past him, as there wasn't much goal left to aim for as he stood behind the post. I guess there was a reason everyone called him Podge. As time went on and we entered our teenage years and Jay entered the Mr. Tumble stage, I've got many fond memories of this time, ranging from the countless times we used to help Grandad with various jobs around the house. These range from digging footings together with more complex jobs of painting fascias, normally quite a bright yellow colour. It's safe to say that Jay has never worked harder in his entire life, as most of the time he didn't trust me to do the jobs, but instead he'd just do them themselves. I used to get jobs like holding the ladder or washing the brushes. It's during this time we experienced one of the funniest family moments, when the notorious Grandad falling in the pond sort of moment, when fish were flying everywhere and Jay's face, Mr. Organised, it was hilarious. It was around this time that Jay also went through quite a musical phase, and this is something that not many people know in here, and it matches Mark Canal as well a little bit. And there's a reason for that. One night we were having a sleepover at my house, and we thought it'd be a good idea to record us both singing. What did we sing, Jay?
Eternal Flame.
No, not quite. Whole Again by Atomic Kitten. To say Jay smashed it would be an understatement. It's a shame that the windows were smashed at the high notes. For those that want to hear this, though, I'll be at the bar later, and I have still got the recording. And I've heard that Jay is coming out of retirement for one night only. And coincidentally, it's the Eurovision tonight as well. Throughout our teenage years, Jay began occasionally babysitting for his four younger brothers. What could go wrong? Jay had been seen as Mr. Sensible by everyone at that time, and usually had his brothers in a military-like routine. Well, somehow I got roped into helping him one night, and I think he sold it to me as, it will be great, we'll have pizza, chill on the PlayStation all night. This couldn't have been more wrong. Jay thought it'd be funny, mid-babysitting, to steal his mum and dad's cider and drink the whole bottle. I remember thinking at that point that the night was not going to end well as I stuck to the cups of tea. A few minutes later, when all hell is breaking loose, Mark, Alan, Paul and Ad all thought it was funny to start wrestling and fighting each other. I look over to Jay to help calm everything down, and he's completely lifeless on the sofa, passed out and completely away with the fairies, with a 3-litre bottle of cider resting on his stomach. Leaving just me to look after the house and sort out 4 feisty cousins, all of who were bigger than me even then. It's safe to say that whenever Jay had to babysit, I was washing my hair or had other arrangements. When talking about this phase in Jay's life, it would be rude of me not to mention a couple of school memories. I sent a little text out to some of Jay's close friends who wanted me to share a couple of things. Whilst in year 8, Jay went through a stage of telling everyone that his dad used to work at the CIA. So if this is true, Uncle Sam, I'm sorry we blown your cover. It was around this time that Jay also started taking football very seriously and began developing his performance skills when on the pitch. You could guarantee that 2 things would happen with Jay within the first 10 minutes of every game. The first one is that rain or shine, no matter who we played, he would try at least one shot from the halfway line.
Standard.
This would always lead to him blazing the ball over, and I think you must have lost about 200 balls. The second would be that every game, every time our games involved a tough opposition, bang on 10 minutes, Jay would fall to the floor and claim that he was injured and that he could no longer continue. Some say he was practicing for the diving competition at the Beijing Olympics at the time. His recovery time though was miraculous. He was usually fully healed by the time he went out, and the injury definitely didn't affect his ability to dance after a few drinks at Wecker Park. Beyond our adolescent years, it's fair to say that our friendship went from strength to strength, and we've had many times, many good times, too many to mention. Like the countless times we've been away with the lads, and every time he's had a few too many drinks, he thinks he's a DJ, playing the decks, pretending he's part of the Swedish house mafia. Like father, like son there. Or that time we visited a well-known bar in Buckley called the Tiv, dressed in our latest clubbing gear, which for Jay usually meant getting into his favourite dancing slip-ons. Apart from Jay's outrageous dance moves, which tended to involve a lot of gym moves, we were having a great night. Towards the end of the night, we all decided to grab some food from the local kebab shop, which Jay ordered as usual, doner kebab and chips. When things started to take a turn for the worst, as we were walking back, a large group of youths from Buckley decided that they were looking for some trouble with us. To this day, I'm still not sure how Jay managed this. He's the only person I've ever seen who could throw punches with one arm whilst protecting his doner kebab in the other. It is a special talent. It's safe to say that not even Mike Tyson could get his kebab off him that night. And he ate it in the taxi home, to be fair, as well. Another time when me and my fiancée Steph shared a caravan with Jay and some of our other friends down in Blackrock Sands. For those that know Jay will realise that he likes to think he's very knowledgeable in the area of exercise and nutrition. After one of his many lectures regarding the amount of sugar and fat that's contained in a sausage, Jay then proceeded to go into the kitchen, grab the frying pan and asked if everyone wanted a fry-up. It was exactly like the moment that Aisley Harriott surprised a member of the public on TV with the frying pan in his hand, with Jay saying, "Why hello, Tebs." Okay, so now on to Jay's stag do. Unfortunately, we can't disclose too much about the holiday because the Munich police are still trying to clear any ongoing investigations. But I can say a few things. For those that don't know, we jetted away to Munich in Germany at the beginning of April with a group of 17 family members and close friends. The meeting point was the lovely Wetherspoons in Shotton at 8:30 start, before getting picked up to be taken to Manchester Airport. Now, what was meant to be a slow and steady start turned out to be a hardcore hour for Jay, with everyone buying him several pints and shots of Jaeger. He was, of course, also dressed in a t-shirt with the words "pants off, dance off," alluding to a picture of Jay on the t-shirt when he was younger, wearing his stylish white undies. This had quite the effect at Wetherspoons early in the morning, and I think Jay fitted right in, to be honest. Why Germany, I can see some people thinking. Well, we wanted to find a country that matches Jay's own methodical personality, and I think we did. Okay. For those that have not witnessed any photos of Jay on the stag do, we dressed him up on both days, making sure that we followed the only 2 rules that he had stated. The first one was to make sure the outfit is the correct size. I think we succeeded with that, to be fair.
Just about.
Although both outfits seemed to fit, but I have to admit they left nothing to the imagination. We also wanted to dress Jay in something that demonstrated his charm, and I think we succeeded, dressing him in a really tight retros 80s personal trainer outfit, complete with his mullet wig, high-vis pop socks. If there's ever an outfit that outlined the true Jay Davies, this was it. Some of the lads commented about Jay keeping the wig on permanently, as he definitely pulled it off. The second rule that Jay wanted us to abide by was to convey his sense of personality. So for the second outfit, we dressed him in an astronaut suit, complete with space helmet and the NASA badge. For those trying to work out why astronauts, well, during Jay's clubbing years in Chester, he went through a phase of telling unsuspecting girls that his profession was being an astronaut. Alongside this, he printed out business cards with his personal mobile number on it to show anyone that became interested. This is a true story, to be honest. To this day, I'm not sure how many girls fell for Jay's creativity. To match this Munich experience, we printed off business cards for Jay to hand out, and we were getting a little worried as we didn't have any cards left, so I don't know who he's handed them out to. On arriving in Munich, we were straight out. Jay, dressed in his personal trainer outfit, running up and down the streets of Munich, tempting the locals to complete some yoga and stretching with him. We found one bar towards the end of the night which completely took over, and that memory will stay with me and Jay forever. The whole stag group was sat on the stage of the bar, singing and swaying to several classic songs, like Let It Be, Oasis, and I'm sure the locals thought it was an act that we were the act that they booked that night. The night ended inevitably with Jay buying a doner kebab and then running to the toilet to throw up with a countless number of shots, beers and gins that were bought for him before collapsing onto the bed. I just want to make a point at this point. Whilst Jay was being sick in the toilet, we also had a moment where Paul was being sick in the bin at the same time. I honestly didn't know how to deal with the situation, but it ended up being a bit like a tennis match where I was like... That's not in the speech, by the way, Paul, but I wanted to just say that.
Worst night ever.
Okay, so the second day was full of promise, which included Jay donning on his astronaut helmet and costume and getting into full character. He kept repeating the phrase, "Houston, we have a problem," loudly around the streets of Germany. Jay spent most of the night raving on the podium, and at the end of the night it got a little bit weird when he started stroking random German blokes' faces. At that point, and he claimed he could no longer see. So at that point, we knew that we had to end it, really. Okay.
Better call it a night at that
we
point.
did. Very quickly, I just want to give both Jay and Becky's dad a shout out. It's really important. Picture this. During one of our crazy nights, fueled by lots of gin and beer and stuff, I remember looking around the dance floor, taking everything in. Nothing prepared me for what I witnessed. It was like the old Sheila's Wheel song. There were clowns to the left of me, led by Uncle Syme, doing a dance move that can only be described as the dance floor pogo. There were jokers to the right, led by Brian, who was throwing all sorts of shapes, including one that was described as making love to a goat. And I was stuck in the middle with Jay, who was constantly throwing beer all over my face. It was at that moment, ladies and gentlemen, that I knew that we had conquered Munich. On a serious note, the whole stag do was amazing. I want to thank everyone who attended. It was great to see everyone laughing and joking at Jay's expense. Okay, now that I've told you a few bad jokes and shared a little bit too much information for Jay's liking, I want to leave you all with the thoughtful part. After all, I'm meant to be portraying Jay as the positive husband he will undoubtedly be. Not only is Jay close family, but he is also a best mate, with a friendship that prides itself on loyalty, trust and honesty. It's a friendship that has stood the test of time, which is a testament to Jay's dedicated and positive character. Throughout our lives, Jay and I have grown up, and all the lads, as brothers, with his family being a close extension of my own. We've had lots of laughter, tears and the occasional scrap, but Jay has always stuck by me and demonstrated a fierce sense of loyalty to all those he holds dear. You see, ladies and gentlemen, to Jay, family is everything. It's the cornerstone of his life. He once told me that family is not an important thing, it's everything. To say that friendship is not also about being there for the good times, but that the true measure of friendship is around sticking around when times get tough. Jay has demonstrated this mantra at several points within our relationship and has always been a strong presence, particularly when we lost our nan a few years ago. And also when supporting me through my own health scares, making sure that he was there to help when I needed it. I knew this part would be like this. His strength during those darker times, making the positive person that he is. Of course, he is not without humour and can always laugh at himself. He is someone that I trust with my life, a statement that I can only hold for a few people. Jay has had many achievements in his life, both on a personal and professional level, and is a natural born leader in many ways. This has been highlighted in his work career since leaving school and his current opportunity he now has with the council. I'm sure that he will make very best of his exciting opportunity. In addition to everything that I previously said, Jay is also an amazing father and role model to Theo and all of the lads, who without Jay's guidance has undoubtedly got the world at his feet. Jay would class both his marriage to Becky and the birth of Theo as his two supreme accomplishments. Jay is going to be a wonderful husband, loyal, caring and sensitive. When Becky and Jay found each other, I believe they found a genuine kind of love, which isn't just about excitement, spontaneity and elated feelings, but also about a deliberate choice from both parties. A plan to love each other for better or for worse, for richer or for poorer, in sickness and in health, a vow that they have publicly acknowledged in front of us all today. Okay. So, traditionally, the last job of the best man is to impart some wise words for the newlywed couple. So I've decided to share 10 top tips from my research into marriage. Number 1, this isn't the funny part, Paul, this is the serious part. Number 1, never be angry at each other at the same time. Number 2, never yell at each other unless the house is on fire. Number 3, if you have to criticise, do it lovingly. Number 4, never bring up mistakes of the past. Number 5, neglect the whole world rather than each other. Number 6, at least every day try to say something positive to each other. Number 7, when you've done something wrong, be ready to admit it and ask forgiveness. Number 8, never forget to laugh together. Number 9, always remember why you fell in love in the first place. Number 10, never give up on each other even when times get tough. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a real privilege and honour to be the best man today. I would like to say a big thank you for Jay and Becky for asking me to undertake such a privileged role. With great pleasure, I ask you all to be upstanding and raise your glasses high in the air to a toast to the bride and groom. We wish you both happiness and all the very best in this new chapter in your new life together. To Becky and Jay. Thank you.